Hi everybody, I am starting Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I've attempted a start a few times, I've attempted to video a few times, but now I think I'm finally where I'm meant to be. So I was looking at the work of Grace Cossington Smith and I just loved her. I love her still lives. I love her colour palettes. I love this hot Australian summer kind of vibe, but I just also like the fact that she was making these and painting these around my birth. So she's been doing these, or the period that I've picked out to look at her work is roughly between the late 50s, so because this one's 1959, through to 62, 64, which is this one. I was born in 61, so it's just an interesting thing to look back and say, when I was born, this person was painting this. Quite interesting. So she studied quite a bit with different people, even though she lived in Australia. She did have periods of time going overseas and studying with different people. Antonio Dutillo, I'm written it upside down, Rubbo. She studied drawing with. She did spend some time in England and Germany with doing classes, so quite travelled and quite well studied. She was born in 1892, so you know, she's quite famous in Australia as a woman artist. So one of the things that's inspired me is the small brush strokes, using a square brush. So she's been a bit like influenced by the Cubist movement, but she's sort of got a modern style, well, for back then, to what, you know, was happening at the time back in those years. I just want to show you a little bit. She's got a lot of rooms and draping, and for our still life, I was feeling a bit like she was a great example for how she'd set up a room, you know, with a table. So it's got the aspects that we're looking at for this volume 7. I have mentioned before, I don't know if I can do it the way everyone else is doing it, but I'll show you why I think I might be doing it a little bit different. So here's some of her rooms, and you can see these little these little dabby brush strokes. I love the colour palettes, and it's really interesting. And so over here, from this naivety to here, it's quite a contrast, because this is like very tiny little brush strokes, and yet it still has this same sort of swimming, sultry heat about it. Here's a doorway, there's windows, and here's her flowers, her still life flowers. So while I was thinking about this, I didn't know if I wanted to do a really large one. I felt like I needed to break it down and be in the process of what I'm learning. So one little aspect, rather than a big, large thing and me feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So I went to a cafe with Lily and I did a drawing. I started sketching when Lily had gone into work. We'd had breakfast and she'd gone into work, and I took photos as reference after I'd been sketching this particular table, because it had the same honey kind of tones, the golden yellowy, you know, honey kind of tones, even the floor. So I also converted this to a grayscale, because it just helps me with the tonal values, where the really darks, where the mid-tones, where the really lights are, you know, these really light bits, these shadows and dark bits. So here's my sketch, and a sketch can be a rough interpretation, but what I really want to do is have a go at a Grace Cossington Smith style on this size without being overwhelmed trying to do that on a huge large canvas. So I was sticking this in the book and I saw on my pile of warts this little pile and I thought, well, that really resonates with me. It's been what I've been using, and it's got that yellow, but it also, the pink and the tealy dark bluey colour just felt right somehow for this. So what I'm going to be doing is doing a small panel of this, and I think I want to write the date, where it was, lunch with Lily, and make it something that is in itself a piece and a bit of art, and then think about after if I'm putting them all onto something larger. So it's a work in progress. As Dawn said, it's the process. That's the thing. That's the thing we're all doing. And I'm going to get started. So, as everyone knows, I got the stash from my sister's friend, from her mum. And apologies, I hope she hasn't watched the previous videos because she isn't dead. So I'm so embarrassed about saying that or thinking that. Her mum is okay, but she's just downsized a lot of stuff because her husband's just gone into care, and she is older, you know. So I just assumed that this was a deceased estate. So I'm mortified. So I'm so sorry, and sorry for anyone else who thought that too. So I don't know if I showed you this part of her stash yet, the material, but it's so the colours that I'm thinking. So this is perfect. The colours, absolutely perfect. There was some little funny bits where she's layered lots of cut out little lace circles, and she's beaded them and started to bead. So she's done some practicing. I think this is going to come in handy at some point in this project. Here is another beautiful bit of beading that she's done just to practice how to do different things, but I do believe I'm going to use this somewhere in this project too. It's wonderful after going to the NGV and seeing, I can't remember the name, but if you look right back, there's a video about the beading from the lady from the 1920s, and this is very similar, beautiful. And look at that, she's tried to make a fringe with the beading. It's also, now I'm thinking I'd like to meet her and show her some of the things I'm making from her things. So there were little bits of old lace. There's one doily. I don't know if I'll dye that or not, but the main thing was that she had a lot of these things that are kind of really pre-dyed. I don't know what she did, whether she just dyed them, whether she ink tints them, but they all work so well in this colour palette. I don't know if she actually tried to make this herself or if it's just coming apart pre-made, but I love this. It's almost olive green. I don't know, it's just a favourite colour. It's like a pale olive, yellow green blend. I don't know, there's probably a name for it. But she also had things like this that I believe, I honestly believe she's ink tints these. They work so well with this colour palette too. See, these, once again, these are all, they're multiple colours. They're the greens and the warm orangey yellows and the paler yellows and the paler greens. So this also, they're just perfect for this project. And they're all similar, like, colours that maybe she loved and chose. And there's these. Once again, they're mixed colours. They're not, I really don't believe that these were bought like this. I believe she's coloured these. Some daisies. Not sure, she must have been making, maybe she was making a little doll's dress or something. I don't know. This one's got a little bit more of a dusky sort of tone to it rather than the bright. So there's a couple of these. Might be good on the walls or something at some point. And here's another one. This one's got a bit more of this sort of dusky pinky colour mixed in. So it's a fabulous stash to work with, but also because I did say to my sister, I'm looking for yellows. Obviously this one isn't, so this one has quite a bit of this lovely, I don't know what it's called. I want to say boucle. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. It's such a wonderful creative kind of thread, but just part of the walls that my sister passed on. So there were quite a few Appletons, which is what I have been trying to collect a bit more of. Appletons. So quite a lot of Appletons in this sort of colour palette. Oh, and some little cherries. How cute are they? Which I'm really happy about. I have been trying to collect a bit of Appletons. Not sure what this one is, but all these different variegated green tones. A bit more of that. And these DMCs, actually that's a DMC. Those are similar. So you can see that already, take that away, there is a stash that at least I can start on my first one. So I'll gather some things together and get started on that. So before I start on my small pieces for all the new prompts that are going to come up, I just wanted to show that I have done a big, large background. I've done the tacking stitch to put this old cotton sheet, and this is bamboo. This is filled with antique French hessian, antique French tea towels. These are newer, so this is from the op shop haul I just did recently when I went to Epping. It's like a baby's swaddling kind of cloth, cheesecloth type of thing. Same with this. These were in the baby section at Epping when I went in there to the op shop. They're the main components, and then I've got, which is, you might laugh, this is an IKEA cotton Doona cover pillowcase. So this is from the pillowcase. I'm feeling it's a little bit bright at the moment, and I'm thinking I might dunk this into coffee or tea or something. These have all got invisible stitch, except this one's got a very wide open running stitch. You can see it on the back. And a lot of the time I have to turn it over to see if I've done that bit or not, because you can't always see the stitches on the front, even a running stitch. So that's had a running stitch, you can see. What I've decided to do was use something that's more this colour, the same as the tacking colour, so I could see it, on the tablecloth or the table, just to give some interest to the table through here. What else have I done? I know there's a bit of blue. Oh, here, this. I've done the wider, longer running stitch all the way through here, so it's like a very open cantha, and it looks a little bit like a mattress, so that was interesting. So most of these are invisible stitched down. This took me a good afternoon yesterday to do the stitching on here. And I've still got this much to go, so it's obviously a work in progress. This isn't the main thing I'm going to work on in the videos. However, I will refer back to it and show where I'm up to. So I'll put a photo in here. And that's how it looks on the bigger scale at the moment. So I'm going to get started with a bit of material on my smaller one, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so this is where I've gotten up to. I've got some more of my bamboo batting, a bit of the same sheet. So I'm using the same materials for this as my larger one, just in case somehow I'm going to put these onto it. I don't know that that'll be the case, but we'll see. And I've cut out all the individual, I haven't cut those out yet, but the individual bits and pieces are now cut out, ready for some material. So they're all ready to go, and next episode I'll come back with the start of having my material ready. Like so. And I hope you've enjoyed that episode, and we're on the way. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you and the time you take to watch the videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.